Hey yo, welcome to our channel today. I received an email from my ex-wife during lunch break. It has been 7 years since the divorce, and she sends me updates about our daughter's growth a few times a year via email. She always attaches photos too. I guess next month is her high school enrollment, I muttered to myself. My daughter, Catherine, passed the high school entrance exam. I felt relieved and happy knowing that Catherine had worked hard and been accepted to a prestigious public high school since she was determined since childhood. My ex-wife, Susan, must have turned 40 last month. I'm also 43 years old. The days when Susan, Catherine, and I lived together feel ages ago. Susan had a pretty face, and Catherine resembled her. They were a gentle and kind mother-daughter pair. They always kept me relaxed. They were my proud wife and daughter. Should we have a meal together, just the three of us? There's no one to disturb us anymore. I was teased by a colleague with a smirk on my face while holding my smartphone. Dodging their comment, I opened the email. I froze. Hospitalized. Catherine. The email simply said Catherine has been hospitalized. Can we talk about it over the phone? I wanted to make a phone call, but lunch break was ending. I replied to the email saying I'll call you immediately after work today without working overtime. Catherine, why hospitalization? She's about to enter high school. We didn't part ways hating each other. That mother-in-law, Susan's mother, who passed away in an accident 4 months ago, didn't like me even before we got married. She opposed our marriage and continued to criticize everything I did even after we got married. I was left with no family, and the only support I had were friends and colleagues. It's only natural that they couldn't advise my mother-in-law as my allies. Susan always seemed apologetic when she said, "I'm sorry for my mom behaving like that." When the parent company of my workplace went bankrupt and I became uncertain about my future, my mother-in-law started pressuring me to get a divorce. Her nephew, who is Susan's cousin, is a lawyer, and he plays dirty. I was confronted with the threat of divorce because they said I might not be able to earn an income in the future. But my company managed to overcome the crisis, and I continued to provide an unexpectedly generous amount of child support. My mother-in-law also demanded financial support for Susan's living expenses, and I complied. Fortunately, I kept getting promoted, and I didn't want to cause any trouble for Susan and Catherine. Even though I was under the control of my mother-in-law, I didn't want my ex-wife and daughter to feel uncomfortable in their own home. I called and heard Susan's gentle voice, bringing back memories. "Sorry for bothering you at work with this kind of news, Ted. Never mind that. What's going on with Catherine? Hospitalization? She's been visiting the hospital for a while. They've mentioned hospitalization multiple times, and she's been admitted for tests about 3 times. I didn't want you to worry about her, but this time it's different. The doctor said it's serious, so I need you to prepare yourself this time." Susan's voice was trembling. I asked for directions to the hospital and headed straight there. Susan hasn't changed much in appearance. She has just aged a little. I'm sorry you can't see Catherine right now. She's sleeping under sedation for the tests. But there was another reason for the email. Is there something else to be worried about? It's money. I don't have any. I only have $40 left. That's all the money I can use. I got laid off from my part-time job. I took too much time off due to Catherine's illness. How were you managing? I was receiving financial support from you as a single parent. Medical expenses have been covered, but they didn't enroll me in employment insurance at my part-time job, so I don't have unemployment benefits. With the expenses for Catherine's high school preparation, we're struggling. Now I only have $40 left. I had no idea about that. Well, I wouldn't know since we're living separately, and she didn't tell me. But the truth is I haven't been emotionally invested or thoughtful for the life of my dear ex-wife and irreplaceable daughter. Catherine has what kind of disease? Is it that serious? Susan mentioned the diagnosis I wasn't familiar with. She'll be okay, right? The doctor said no one knows if she can make it through the next couple of days. Why didn't you tell me you were having financial difficulties, right? Look, I've been told a lot of things by your mother, but I had enough income to ensure that both of you wouldn't have to struggle for a lifetime. I don't think that makes me a good husband, but it's just pathetic that I couldn't do anything as a parent to help Catherine until now. Well, I thought you might also have someone you love and have another chance at life, so I told Catherine not to bother you. Stop saying that and crying. I swallowed those words. They must have been crying all this time. They must have been crying and silently asking for my help. Let's live together again, huh? We don't have to get back together or get married again if you don't want to, but for Catherine's sake, to stop her from crying anymore and to let her enter high school happily. Let the three of us live together as a united family. Are you serious? I didn't want to get a divorce, but if I had insisted back then, it would have been tough on Susan and Catherine. I don't like making excuses now. I want to regain the time we lost together. Yeah, Catherine said the same thing. She said if Grandma wasn't here, maybe Dad would come back. She wants to pursue a career in the medical field, so she's been researching her own symptoms. She probably knows she won't survive. I regretted it. While I was having fun drinking with colleagues and friends, while I was obsessed with playing new video games I bought, while I was soaking just because I received a little criticism at work, my precious ex-wife and daughter were crying because my daughter's life might be cut short. They didn't tell me because they thought it couldn't be relied on, but because they didn't want to interfere with my future. Are you kidding? You too? And even me. I'm just an irredeemable idiot and a fool. I thought you two were living happily without me. I thought Susan would eventually find a better man than me and be happier. And I thought Catherine would enjoy her high school life, make a boyfriend, and someday get married and have grandchildren for me. But it's not guaranteed that only a bright future awaits humans, is it? The feeling of fear at night, it had been the first time in a while. I was even afraid of the morning coming. It's completely different from things like wishing I didn't have to go to work and hoping the morning wouldn't come. Anxiety and fear escalate minute by minute as I think about the possibility of Catherine not waking up in the morning. I cried. I cried on the long bench at the hospital. Catherine, who is fighting to stay alive right now, would worry about it if her dad cries like that. Susan said with an anxious tone in her voice. Susan has been carrying this anxiety all along and has been fighting against it for the sake of her daughter. I should have talked to my mother-in-law to live as a family again, to support Susan's and Catherine's lives. Now you can see her. The door of Catherine's private room opened. An elderly male doctor appeared. She will need to stay in the hospital for a few more days, but her condition is improving. She will probably be able to temporarily leave the hospital. Thank God. Susan, who must have been holding back tears all this time, started crying. Doctor, will my daughter be able to enroll in high school? The doctor seemed confused as he looked at me. Oh, sorry, I'm Catherine's father. We got divorced, and my ex-wife asked me to come. Oh, you're her father. Has her mother discussed it with you? Yes, we don't have any bad blood between my ex-husband and me. The doctor politely explained it side by side. Catherine wouldn't be able to commute for long even after entering school, and there's the necessity that we need to watch over her short life as a family. I will take responsibility and make the two of them happy. Please continue the treatment from now on. I bowed my head at a right angle. Catherine often told me that you were a good father and that she wanted to see you. I'm glad. The doctor smiled. I also thought it was a good thing that this person was Catherine's doctor. Let's watch over Catherine's short remaining life together with Susan under the same roof. I moved into the old house where the two of them were forcibly brought back by my mother-in-law. It has been 7 years since the last time I came to this house. I prayed with my fingers crossed in front of my mother-in-law's memorial portrait. I also included a wish for her not to disturb us from the afterlife, for Catherine, for Susan. It doesn't matter whether my mother-in-law still hates me or not. I hope Catherine will overcome the disease and show me the side of her marriage and grandchildren. But if not, I have to at least let her go with memories of a peaceful and happy family life. I didn't want to remind her of the conflict between my mother-in-law and me. Next week is the entrance ceremony, right? I checked the calendar on my smartphone and spoke to Catherine. Right, you gotta be there? I took the day off, you know. I'll go in my brand new suit, looking sharp. I won't let you down. Stop with the goldish suit and all that, Catherine laughed. Then should I go while shooting lasers? As Catherine and I laughed and talked, Susan joined in and said with a big laugh, well then, Mom will go in a jumpsuit. I'll be expelled on the day of the entrance ceremony. Catherine continued to laugh. That became our last night together. Catherine, who always woke up first and cleaned a small yard, didn't wake up the next morning. We called an ambulance, but both Susan and I had already prepared ourselves for that coming someday. Both Mom and I will go there too, and then we'll live together again. I'm sorry for the past 7 years. I love you, Catherine. Catherine, sleeping on the bed, seemed to have a faint smile on her face. My beloved ex-wife and daughter. If only we could turn back time to those days. Even though I knew it was meaningless, I kept praying. I need to make my daughter, who would never wake up again, happy this time. I wanted a life that wouldn't make my kind ex-wife cry. Now that Catherine was gone, at least for Susan, I held Susan's hands as she continued to cry beside me. Yes, one more time. Thank you, dear listeners, for joining us on this heartfelt journey. We hope that our story resonated with you, touching the depths of human emotions and the complexities of family bonds. If you found this narrative moving or thought-provoking, we invite you to express your appreciation by hitting the like button, sharing it with others who might benefit from its message, and subscribing to our channel for more engaging content. Your support means the world to us, and we look forward to bringing you more stories that inspire, connect, and remind us of the importance of love and understanding in our lives. Thank you for being a part of our community, and until next time, take care.